Well, folks, I guess I can't put it off any longer. It's time to talk about Superman. Superman 2025, rated PG-13, 2 hours and 9 minutes. This is from DC Studios. It is a superhero action-adventure. This is written and directed by James Gunn and stars David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. I had to take some time before I wrote my review for Superman, the highly anticipated start of the DC universe. This weekend saw the third largest opening at the box office this year. Superman took in over $122 million. I've seen the movie twice now because I wanted to be absolutely sure of my opinion. After attending 2 sold-out screenings, I think I'm ready. But first, I'd like to address something head-on. I am very biased against the superhero movie and what it has become. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios and real-life Pazuzu, has helmed the MCU for nearly 2 decades. He has brought you 38 titles, not including TV shows, and 37 of those will be stains on cinema for as long as cinema exists. Iron Man and The Dark Knight came out in the same year. Both of those films were excellent, and they were both box office juggernauts. But not only were they expertly crafted pieces of cinema, they also had something to say. They weren't trying to just insert jokes to cap off every single scene. There was genuine tension as conflicts began to mount. The origins of these characters felt deeply inspirational and personal and exciting. Kevin Feige saw an opportunity that DC Studios was just too slow to execute. The creation of a shared cinematic universe with dozens of the characters that they own. It was off to the races, and the race was to the bottom. Each subsequent superhero iteration became less exciting, less distinguishable, and less thought out, pumping content out as fast as they could. It didn't matter if the movie was good at all, as long as it made money and was big. As a filmmaker, nothing has been more discouraging than watching audiences drool over material that is just not good. I want to see sold-out theaters. I love when people are excited about movies. But these? How about this? As a rule of thumb, if the most exciting part of your film is the end credits scene advertising the next film in a franchise, that isn't a movie. That's an advertisement. Marvel has fooled the audience into thinking the only movies we're seeing in theaters are superhero pictures, and everything else is no longer worth your time. All your friends will see the latest hero do the exact same thing the last hero did in the last movie, so you must also see it too. It's audience capture, plain and simple. And more frightening is when I talk to lovers of the genre, they openly acknowledge, at least now, how repetitive and ridiculous the MCU has gotten. I guess the question I had walking into Superman was, are we starting this journey all over again? Are we in for another 40 films in the DCU, guaranteed to be worse and worse and worse? What does the starting point even look like after 20 years of Marvel dominating the box office? Well, folks, it doesn't look good. But it's also not entirely hopeless. The opening scene to Superman tells us almost everything we need to know about the movie. First, an entire page of exposition tells us Superman is already well established on Earth. He is an alien. There are also metahumans, superpowered Homo sapiens, who can act as superheroes also. One of those metahumans, the Hammer of Boravia, just beat Superman in a fight. Superman, David Corenswet, from Pearl, good get for him, crashes in the Arctic tundra. He whistles for his dog to come get him. In no time at all, Krypto comes rocketing through the snow to find him and bring him home. Was the dog just wandering around the Arctic waiting for him? Where did it come from? How long was the dog there? How does the dog have superpowers? Who cares? Just watch. Krypto brings Superman back to his ice palace hidden under the snow. Robots that, I guess, work there, live there, just came with Superman. I don't know. There's no explanation on those. Robots greet our protagonist and explain to him and to us that they have started playing his parents' message. Oh, it soothes him. Then a hologram of Superman's parents begin to speak, and the robots thankfully, actually translate the message back to Superman as if he hasn't heard it thousands and thousands of times before. Because we haven't heard it thousands and thousands of times before. So they have to read the message back to us. Also, instead of just giving us subtitles. You know, like, it's just... It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thankfully, from here, I'm relieved to say the movie picks up a bit. Clark Kent is working at the Daily Planet, getting exclusive interviews with Superman. His girlfriend, Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, thinks Superman should just sit down for a real interview, which she promptly coaxes him into. To his credit, writer-director James Gunn throws in a subplot about the fictional country of Boravia that actually adds quite a bit of substance to this so far skeletal iteration of Superman. While it seems blatantly obvious who the country of Boravia is supposed to be, the metaphor isn't lost on me, and I am really happy to see it here. Unfortunately, the one subplot aside, the writing in Superman is super meh. The characters are not developed enough. Superman's origin story is not depicted here, and the argument to not show the origin story doesn't make any sense to me. How many times can you show the same origin story is the question. Well, considering Man of Steel came out in 2013, there are children seeing Superman for the first time now. They've never seen a Superman in their lifetimes, at least in theaters. This would be their first time experiencing his origin in a cinema, and you've deprived them of that. Also, the argument, how many times can you show the same thing over and over again, isn't exactly the argument I'd be making while producing the 5th iteration of the same character. Now, of course, as per usual with James Gunn, every scene must set up and execute a joke. The forced humor is a trademark for Gunn's films, where other directors might want emotion or context. Gunn goes for a laugh every time. Nothing is ever serious. I don't need every superhero movie to be brooding and dark, but I'd like a superhero that I could take seriously and worry about the outcome for. Which brings me to the next problem. Superman is just not a good character. For all of his iconic imagery, he's a god among men, more beautiful and powerful than everyone else on the planet, and he comes from a good home. Simply put, he's just not that relatable. Certainly not like Batman, Spider-Man, or any of the X-Men. Let's talk about Lex Luthor. Before I make my points, I think Nicholas Hoult is great in this role. I think he's arguably the best part of this movie. Every scene he is in is greatly aided by his presence. Unfortunately, again, the writing utterly fails him. His evil plan involves splitting the Earth in half at one point. We see the entire city of Metropolis tear down the center. By the way, don't worry, despite only a half-hour notice, they evacuated the entire city in 25 minutes. There weren't even any traffic jams on the bridge. Miraculous, ain't it? Lex Luthor is a very entertaining character, but where does his hatred of Superman come from? Why is he so motivated to kill Superman? He's willing to destroy his entire home planet. Doesn't really make sense. I could just keep going. I could go on and on and on about, frankly, how much of this just doesn't make sense. The entire sequence with Elephant Man feels so insulting to our collective intelligence, but I know no one really cares about that. Giant monsters randomly appear throughout this picture, and none of the audience or people in this world seemingly even questions it. They're more annoyed at the one good bit of writing in this film, which is the subplot about Boravia. Why does art have to have meaning or be about anything? Can't it just be colorful? I'm sorry, you're really misunderstanding the point. Superman, despite its god-awful screenplay, at least has some moments where it attempts to be a real movie. In general, though, this has not left me wanting more. It just made me sad that this is our world. To take a quote from the movie, "We're not gonna have a place to land if the whole planet is destroyed." 2 stars. 2.5 at best. Hey guys, if you like this review, which I know a lot of you are not going to, please subscribe. If you want to hate watch me because you know I hate movies like this and you want to disagree with me in the future, you can also subscribe because my opinion's not going to change. Also, please subscribe to our Patreon page where you get exclusive early access to these reviews, behind the scenes of Scareworks Productions, and the exciting things that we're working on this year. You're going to be the first to know about it. We have some really cool stuff in the pipeline right now. Within the next couple weeks, you're going to be seeing some really cool stuff. We really need your support, so please check out the Patreon below. Thank you very much. And stay tuned for reviews coming this week of I Know What You Did Last Summer and Eddington. Should be an interesting weekend. Until then, I'll see you at the movies.